Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur and Smith.
That's me.
We have been gone for a while because I had the flu. We're at the holidays, the flu, and then Chris got a little sick. So, we were away for a while. Apologies, but we're back. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, we're a podcast about history, politics, and race from a cool perspective, and we also cover current affairs and stuff like that. We always just try to break it down for you guys, simple and plain. I'm a film director from Trinidad and Tobago, and love history and politics, love to travel. Chris is a veteran of the Army Reserves that works for the VA currently, and he also has a passion for history, politics, travel, all that good stuff. It's about truth. It's not pro any race. We just pro truth. The truth offends you. We're sorry, not sorry. That's our world famous slogan. You know what I'm saying? And this week we get, as everyone knows, the presidential race is coming up. It's going on, as we know. The caucuses are coming up soon, which is the first ones, which we'll talk about next week. But this week we're gonna just cover some of the current affairs, man, that you guys have been seeing, and give you guys our opinion and perspectives on it.
And wish everyone a happy holidays, happy New Year.
Yeah, all that good stuff. So we're gonna what are we talking about, Chris?
Well, there's the impeachment.
Yeah, because now it's over at the Senate.
Correct.
Yeah,
the articles of impeachment were that was all done. The trial there, and then they finally brought the articles over. I think she probably, as in Pelosi, could have waited. I even heard that they could have separated the two.
Yeah, and I like the way she held it up. So I want to talk about that. How Pelosi held up the articles. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Especially because more news start coming out, and I don't know if people are familiar with the Lev Parnas, that guy, and everything he's sharing.
Pelosi is straight gangster. She is, man. She single-handedly, I heard someone say recently, she single-handedly defended the Constitution, man, against Trump. It's crazy. She's straight gangster. She's probably she's more gangster than Cardi B. All of them, you know what I'm saying? She's probably the most gangsterous female of 2020, 2019. I'm sorry. I got to give it to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So, how was your holiday? Your New Year's and all that stuff?
Yeah, spent it with my family out here in California. So, thanks to T and K for hosting me, and the dinner was amazing. So,
yeah. I saw pictures on your social media. That stuff
she cooked her ass off, and I give her mad props for it. And my cousin, he did smoked ribs and stuff like that. And that was really good too. So
I saw that stuff, boy. I almost wanted to jump through your social media and grab some of that stuff.
And then New Year's, there's a new art gallery, so I went to that opening, and then also to the bars and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool, man. My girlfriend at the time invited me to her families and stuff like that. So I did all that. She's no longer the girlfriend, but she ended up spending with her family and friends, and did New Year's with her in Palm Springs and some other friends. The guy that owns the gym that I work out at, me, him, and his wife and my girlfriend at the time went. We had a good time. It was fun.
Nice.
And man, just brought it in like that. It's funny. I'd always wanted to. First of all, I love Palm Springs and Palm Desert. Something about the energy of about that whole area. And I'd never spent New Year's there. Yeah. So now I could check that off the list. I'd always wanted to spend New Year's there, and it was cheap too. The hotel was pretty cheap, and it was nice, good vibes.
Good.
So that's what I did, man. Then right after that, ended up with the flu. Actually caught it from her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then in the middle of that, she dumped me. So, you know what I mean? All of our listeners, it's all good. Listen, it happens to the best of us. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. So anyway, listeners, just wanted to catch up with Chris a little bit. I haven't really even seen him that much over the holidays. And you know how it is when you have a girlfriend. You spend time with your friends and stuff too, but you also got to make time for that someone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not like most. Always, I even invited you to come to New Year's.
Yeah,
because it's not like it's just me and her. If I'm with someone, I can invite my friends and stuff too, and still be open to everybody kind of hanging and stuff. But with that said, I still haven't seen. He's been busy with work and this and that, and doing his own thing too, and hanging out and stuff. And I was invited to that gallery, by the way, for Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
But that's my birthday, so I don't know if I'll be going there. We'll see.
Okay.
Who I'm with, how I'm with. And then we're both leaving town right after that.
Yeah.
So
going
man.
To Shy, and you're
going traveling again, going to Australia.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, man. What do you want to talk about first? The impeachment
I think,
and everything related to that, or
everything
is related to that?
Yeah.
Everything is related to that.
So, like we said, the articles were brought over. Of course, the impeachment is about the two articles, which is abuse of power and obstruction of justice of Congress.
Yeah, of Congress.
So, with the abuse of power, it's got to do with the fact that he kind of committed, as in Trump was committing what was it, blackmail or bribery?
Yeah,
one of the.
It was bribery.
Bribery. That's right. He said that if the Ukrainian government would look into his potential competitor, which is Joe Biden, or his son, John, right? John Biden?
Joe and Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden,
right? Yeah.
Who was working at
Burisma for Burisma, yeah.
And I know they keep talking about, or the talking points are that Hunter was paid $50,000 a month. Yeah. But then, if it's about kids whose parents are in power and they shouldn't be doing stuff, then, like Ivanka shouldn't be in the office. They're all making money now. And the kids are making, when they travel, they're making money off Secret Service. Their businesses are making money by
all these new businesses they have now.
Foreign governments and states are getting rooms in their places, and then Trump himself is trying to get conferences. That is
very good point.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm confused.
He even has a neighborhood in Israel being named after him. He's behind it actually. It's called the Trump so and so.
And
it's whole neighborhood of houses.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So as much as they try to bring up Biden and Burisma, and it's just to actually deflect and like get us off of the issue at hand, which is you try to bribe.
Yep. Try to get their government to do an investigation
to help your election.
And whether or not even if any of that was true, because I don't believe he was really trying to go after corruption.
No, he wasn't.
Talked about, he tried to say he's trying to go after one particular person. And all they wanted to do, almost like with what happened with Hillary back, is just having her be under investigation for her emails was enough to really tide the turn at the time. Having this evidence of something, which then would, and people have already looked into it tons of times, and have said that there's nothing, between Burisma and they tried to do Burisma and
China, was it?
And Hillary. I thought at one point. No, I'm sorry, that was the Ukrainian thing. Sorry, forget that. But with Burisma, yes, it was a bad corporation, and it was known for doing some corrupt things. Yeah, but everything what they wanted is corrupt. But Joe Biden, when he said he was going to hold up the money, that was to stop. That was to get a better prosecutor in. Who was not as corrupt as the people, and they've already, and the Ukraine has changed, and now they've got better people in place, and you got Zelensky, their president, and more power to him and everything. But yeah,
what I think is funny is because I heard them talking about calling witnesses,
yes,
and
or the lack thereof.
Yeah, what I think is funny is they're trying to call Biden and his son and stuff, but that's not the point.
No.
Whether it was Biden or Chelsea Clinton is not the issue here. It's what you did because of it is the issue. Yeah. They're not on trial, mother sucker. You are.
Yeah.
And I don't want to curse in case I want to promote this episode. Yeah. But they're not on trial for what they did.
Nope.
It's you on trial for trying to use that to sway our political election.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. So stop trying to deflect and let's call Biden. What does that have to do with you? What you did?
Yeah, Biden has nothing to do with any of this stuff.
With what
and
he did.
If you think it is corrupt, then it's a corruption thing that again happened and was already come and gone. But you're trying to bring up this old dirt on something that really isn't there anyway.
And he did it in the wrong way. You know what I mean? And it's funny. I was looking at Nancy Pelosi. She, Real Time with Bill Maher just came back on this Friday for the new season, and Nancy Pelosi was his first guest.
Oh, nice.
And I love the way she said, and I made a note of this. If you look at this president, he did something impeachable every other day.
Oh, yes.
You know what Nancy said? She was just like, I just didn't think he was worth it until he did this thing. And I said, no, this has to stop. But she was like, he was doing impeachable stuff every other day.
Yeah, every other day.
Saying and doing stuff that was worth impeaching him on.
Yep.
But she knew it would have been a fight, so she waited until she got something concrete that would actually stick.
And the crazy thing is he admitted to it. Yeah. I mean, he did press conferences and basically said that, yes, he asked for
it was a perfect call.
An investigation on Biden, on Hunter, and just in Burisma. And that's the only thing he was ever concerned about. Was never concerned about any other thing going on in that country.
Never.
And what's interesting is really that stuff has been going. It's been going on longer than people realize. Like people talk about the one call, and that call was bad enough. But there's other things that when it was a corrupt country, the Ukraine, Trump was and Giuliani were talking with the previous, I think his name's Shokin, who was ready to do an investigation, but then it got stopped.
Right.
And now there's not corrupt people in their their offices or whatever, and so now things are technically better, but it's just like it's crazy. So it's not. So I just want to reiterate, it's not really new. This has been going on since 2017.
It's been going on for a while.
2017.
Yeah, and he, man, this president just. I have so much to say about this. I have to keep stopping to write notes. You know what I mean? Because when I think about every aspect of this president and how he lies every day, even with Parnas, how Parnas just came out. The guy who was working with Giuliani. With Giuliani, who was the connect for Ukraine. Yep. Parnas was the bridge between
the Ukraine,
the President Trump, Giuliani, and Ukraine,
and the Russians too.
Right, and the Russians too. And this is what's despicable about Trump. Mm-hmm. He sits there and says, "Oh, I take pictures with everyone. I don't remember that guy." Yeah. And there's videos of him with Parnas hanging and vibing and chilling. The way we hang at the wineries. Parnas is right there with him. But yet he don't know him.
No. And it's also kind of and it's weird. It's almost like the articles should almost go back and that whole house thing should be redone. Because even they've come out with the fact that Nunes, who was the leading investigator,
in
against
the house,
the thing, has had a phone call with Parnas and is part of this whole thing too, and is acting like, I didn't know anything about him, or I didn't recall that, and even if I did, I told him to contact my his assistant or whatever, and there's pictures with him and with Parnas and the assistant kicking it, like you just said, like dirty. Just
what I love going back to how sorry guys, when you have the flu, you have like these remnants of, like I was telling Chris here before we started rolling, so you might hear me a little cough every now and then, but what I was going to say is I love how at the end, after the House impeached him, I love how Nancy held him. I didn't even know she was gonna do that.
I heard
love
people
how
talk
she
about
held it for like a month to make sure that they thought afterwards she was just gonna hand them over. She said, "Oh no, y'all ain't getting them yet."
Yeah, because
I ain't to see how y'all setting the trial up. I ain't to know who's gonna be leading. I forgot the terminology, but
leading,
on each side. She needs to see who they are gonna be.
Managers.
Yeah, the managers, right. I need to see all that. Y'all ain't just getting this stuff like that.
Actually, it was good. It was held mainly after McConnell on news again just said I'm not going to be I'm not going to be impartial. I'm partial already.
Right.
I'm going to be working hand in hand with the White House and the president's lawyers. I'm sorry. You said what? I'm sorry. You said that to say what? Like what?
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
These
that's where we at in this country.
That's where we at in this country.
It's just that bold. Like I
blatant disrespect for the Constitution for what the people think. Yes. I mean,
at least having a free, an honest, true election. We know the last one, there was bad things that happened. Yeah. The fake news that was out there. And the fact, and just within that, and I'm just kind of side noting real quick, is that it's interesting how these campaigns can come out with these fake images. Like there's that image going out with after the bombing of Iraq.
Of Iran?
Iran, yeah. And then they have a picture.
Oh, you mean when they killed the leader or whatever?
Correct. But after that, there's this fake picture
which I want to talk about too.
Whatever the leader and Obama shaking hands, which there's no true image of it, and they took it from something else and photoshopped it. And then you've got people, again, congressmen, who will talk about that or post it themselves on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and then be like, well, I never said that was a real true picture. Well, how do you're posting? You got people who are following you.
Right.
When you give out, the fake information, you I just don't get it.
Yeah.
News back in the day, you it was more reliable, but
Soleimani.
But we didn't have, these podcasts or YouTube channels or just people who are streaming themselves, and then they're not giving true facts. They're making it up. They're using other bad sources to also back up their stuff. Because it's interesting. Like, again, Trump will say something. He'll say it enough. It'll get repeated on Fox News.
Everywhere.
And then
people will start to believe it.
And then they'll use, and then because it's been brought up on the, Fox News or whatever, he'll retweet that and say, this is what people said and this is what and be like, but you're the one who started it.
Right.
With no evidence.
Right.
And it's crazy to think a president can never back a lot of stuff he says he never backs up. And he, of all people, should be able to get any truth, any information, information. And you would think whenever he's making certain statements, like, I seen people do whatever, that he would also have the evidence to prove it. And it's usually something fake. It's just a lie. He's made up. He
lies like it's just drinking a glass of water, bro.
It's not. It's
crazy. No regard for the fact that we can see photos and videos of you with Parnas.
Or as he's talking, you can be like, huh?
Right, exactly. He lies like it's nothing.
I remember talking about jobs that were created for what was it? Some missiles or whatever, or some weapons were bought from Saudi Arabia. Yeah. And I remember he didn't want to condemn MBZ for what he did to Khashoggi, the reporter who got killed. And he was like, I'm not doing it because they buy stuff from us, and this will create jobs. And it was 50,000 jobs, and then went from 50 to 150 to almost 300,000. And it's no, it's still 50 and less. How do you each time you just add to it that makes it? Anyway,
dude,
sorry, this is I'm trying to be informative.
I was listening to Ed Gordon this morning on The Breakfast Club. He came up with a new book, and he made a really good point that I want people to really listen to. He said, that even though, they're not really doing much for the black community, we have the power to get Trump out of office.
Oh, yeah.
He was explaining how had we voted and not stayed home when he went against Hillary, that he wouldn't have gotten into office. He was literally explaining how if we, the black people, just come out and vote for whoever the Democratic nominee is, Trump will be out of office. If we have the power, we have the numbers to literally take him out of office. Yeah. Which I didn't really know that it was that deep. Like if we all just went out and voted, he would literally be gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really think,
and it would take. And I think to add to that is it's not just like black people in cities, because those numbers are always pretty high, and usually major cities usually tend to be more of a democratic place anyway. But you're also talking along the lines of if people down south, in the areas that tend to be pretty Republican, just people turn out and not get worried, don't get let them suppress your vote. It can change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's all I was saying. That's interesting that we have that power to do that, and I mean, everybody is saying that if he gets in another 4 years, we're in big trouble because we already know the Senate is gonna give him a pass. Yeah. We already know that, but I like what Nancy Pelosi is saying that. Whether they give him a pass or not, he's impeached for life. He could never get rid of that. Yeah. You can't undo that. That's always going to be a stain on his legacy from this moment on, whether they free him or not.
Actually, the question is going to be how many impeachments are they going to do? Because he's not going to stop whatever he doesn't stop. He just continues to roll with, he'll say, and then, like she said, he could have been impeached within that first year, I feel.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And so the question is, when will he cross that line again?
Right.
When will Republicans?
Because he's always crossing the line.
Stop putting the blinders and just truly see him for what he is. And thinking about those tax cuts and whatnot. Everyone who thought, was so happy or made comments. So some Democrats said, "Oh, what's the big deal about getting $1,000?" in taxes, whatever. Yeah. And I get people saying that can help them, and I truly understand that. But when one year you get that nice big check, but then the next year it dwindles, and you're now, instead of getting that extra 1,000 that you had last time, it's only 500. Because I remember the first year people had talked about their taxes and wasn't all that bad. It was pretty good for. And then next year it was like, oh, I owe something, or I'm not getting as much as I thought, you know. And then to hear that the people who did benefit big time were corporations and the ultra rich, they really got, like Trump talked about closing loopholes. Didn't happen. In fact, certain things were widened up, and like if you had people who are already rich and the inheritances, he cleared a lot of that stuff or reduced it so that they can keep their money. So the wealthy is still getting wealthier, and it's all because of Trump. So that's why I always wonder and look with friends who are struggling, or maybe they're doing well. But if you're, we're not the ones who will technically get the big hit. Right. It's the people who should, who are making, who have the millions, billions, or whatever. Yeah. And aren't paying their share. Right. Or they're paying their share, but they could pay way more, and it's not going to hurt their pockets. It's not going to change their lives.
Exactly.
But the stuff that paying those taxes could bring about something like universal health care, which I still don't understand how people don't think that that's a good thing.
Oh, it's a great thing. Yeah.
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I mean, being able to live life, that should be kind of covered.
Healthcare should be covered, especially in a country this
wealthy.
Yeah, the country that's wealthy. That should definitely be a part of the whole thing, man. Yeah. I wanted to touch on Soleimani real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Because them using a drone like it's a video game or something and taking this dude out and the whole convoy, I heard was equivalent to them doing that to, say, Mike Pence if he had left the airport, say in Detroit or something. If they had drones that could invade our airspace and do that.
It'd be about the same.
Yeah.
Taking out the guy.
Yeah, I heard this guy was that important as general.
Yeah.
and even though, he may have been responsible.
Well, we can't say may. I'll say he is responsible for killing
all these people.
Yeah.
But aren't the Americans responsible for killing a bunch of people too in other countries? Casualties of war, collateral damage. How many times has that happened?
I'm going to say that.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's right that he did that, but it was wrong for Trump to take this dude out. And I personally think, and a lot of other people personally think, that he did it just to distract from the impeachment.
Okay, I agree that I think he did this just for distraction, and I think the man needed to probably
without Congress.
The man is done.
Too.
The man did a lot of caused a lot of deaths. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he needed to go. But the thing that they said was there was immediate threat to other,
which was a lie,
and that's the part. So if they're lying about that, then the only reason why they chose to take this man out was like exactly what you said. It was more to cause a distraction
because
and
Obama
for him to have a
Bush,
victory. Because this, and I've heard this man could like, obviously we knew where he was, and I think we always have eyes on this person.
Obama and Bush could have taken him out.
Yeah, a lot of other times, and they knew
advised against it. Yeah, because they said it's not worth it. What could happen if you do this isn't really worth it.
I thought I read that he was given, as in Trump was given, options.
Right, and this
was one of the most extreme options that he was given. And at first he had picked something else, and then which goes along the thinking that he did it to distract and to make himself look all powerful and be like, I did something for the American people, make American people safe, and chose to take this man out at this time instead of at a time that might have been more strategic.
Right.
But yeah, it's never good
and this
and it could have led to war
too. How are we able to take a drone into someone else's airspace and just shoot people on the ground, man?
Well, he was in
Afghanistan.
No, I thought he was in Iraq.
No,
he got taken out in different countries. I thought he was in.
Yeah, we could look it up. Just to be clear for our listeners.
Yeah.
I think it was Afghanistan. He was leaving the airport. I could be wrong. Yeah. Oh, Baghdad.
So he was in Iraq.
Baghdad, you're right. Yeah.
And he was there and that's they thought he was
meeting
with some
Baghdad. They took him out of the airport. Yeah.
Well, that he was supposed to be meeting up with a terrorist group or a group that would be considered terrorist.
That's what they tell us.
No, I know. And so, that's the reason why they were able to do it is because he was in Iraq.
You know what I'm saying? They could tell us anything. We don't know. We ain't on the ground. They could tell us anything.
Correct. Well, they're supposed to back that up
and say this is why we did it. But see, they did it once again without getting Congress approval, which they supposed to. And even after that, there were Republican senators that was pissed the way they did.
Oh, yeah.
Who walked out of the meeting like, that was a crock of so-and-so. You can't just... I mean, they were pissed.
Yeah. And they said that the information that they gave was not even...
Yeah, they didn't give any information.
No, it was terrible. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And I do want to remind people, I was in the military. I still work for the government, so it's not like I'm anti, in fact, I think I'm more patriotic than people, these other people call themselves patriots because I did my time with, I did serve for the country and I'm still serving as a, civil service.
Good point.
Just wanted to, so if anyone wants to come at me, but just know I do have my.
Yeah. But that was wrong. And then after that, they went in and they actually voted. They did another vote taking the power away.
Well, to limit his
power. But they said that he would veto it, of course. But they still went and did it.
Yeah.
And they had...
And there were some Republicans.
And they had bipartisan backing for it. Yeah. Because they were like, you can't just go and... We need more. You can't do that, man, with no repercussions. Like, what are you doing? And it didn't make the world safer.
Nope.
It made it more dangerous, which is why Bush, who you know was a nutcase, and Obama, who wasn't a nutcase, didn't take this guy out. Because they knew if he did,
he'd be more of a martyr than he is.
Yeah, and we'd be even more in danger, even though he was responsible for killing all these people in these countries. Now it's even worse. Yeah. Now the Americans had to leave all these places because it's even worse. Because now Iran is going to take revenge. Those missiles they shot the other day and hit the base in Iraq, that's not all that they're going to do. And believe me, it's not.
And the plane that got shot down also.
And that's on Trump, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's also on. And then did you?
Iran mistakenly did it. Yeah. But that's on Trump. Had Trump not killed this guy, that would have never happened.
Well, did you also? I don't know if you heard that it was very interesting the timing of it because Sean Hannity was on TV bragging about that Iran needs to be concerned, worried that there was something coming. Like bombers actually said some bombers were coming and stuff like that. So, just think if someone is watching their that show over there, and they know Trump and Hannity talk. Sean Hannity's bragged about the fact that he can talk to Trump right on his phone, and he counsels him. So if you think that Trump did not talk to Hannity and give him some information, and then he was like, "Oh, let me brag about this on TV," and then hours later, the plane goes by and then they shoot it down. Yeah, it's a very interesting correlation. Like you just said,
but Iran didn't mean to do that though, because all their people was on that plane. It was just like how many Canadians? Like
it was 60, a little bunch of Canadians. Yeah,
60 Canadians, 110 Iranians. Which is why the people in Iran was protesting when they found out. Because first Iran didn't admit that it was an accident.
Said they didn't.
But everyone knew because the plane was a brand new Boeing plane, only in service 3 years. Oh, and it had just got out of maintenance. It was a brand new plane, bro. So they knew that it was shot down. They were speculating before they even admitted that it was shot down. And then the videos came out showing the 2 missiles. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was a mistake. The surface-to-air missiles in Iran just saw the heat and they just was like, pushed the button. And apparently the guys who was manning the surface-to-air missiles that night, apparently they were supposed to get arrested and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Iran was supposed to bring them in and,
gotcha.
And put them in jail because it was literally a mistake. They don't want to kill their own people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want to kill their own people at all, What else did we want to talk about besides that? Was there anything else? I know a few people dropped out. Booker, Cory Booker dropped out of the race.
Oh, and then the one woman you said you liked, older, who talked about reparations back. Can't remember her name, but I think she kind of suspended.
Klobuchar?
No, not Klobuchar. Another.
Not Warren, right? Warren is still in.
No, Warren's still in. She's going strong.
Look it up real quick.
Sorry, everyone.
No, it's okay. Yeah, let's look it up real quick.
There we go. Democratic.
Yeah, which ones dropped out? Yeah. I know Booker dropped out.
Candidates 2020, let's see.
Yeah, which I actually predicted him dropping out. Those are all still in? You don't even hear about them, man.
You don't. Holy cow, that's still a lot of people. Did some people?
Yeah, I know a lot dropped out.
So the woman's not in there, but we still have Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, who's the only minority on the whole thing. I remember him. Well, I'm sorry. Devil Patrick is also a minority. Right. But I remember, but this Deval Patrick joined after Booker had already fallen out. Because when he had gone out, I remember Andrew Yang was like, man, I kind of, he didn't like the fact that he's truly the only minority at the time on it. But anyway, got Deval Patrick, former governor, John Delaney, not familiar with him.
No,
Michael Bennett, not familiar with him.
Time, bro.
Tulsi Gabbard, Tom Steyer, which we know him from in California. Amy Klobuchar, glad she's still in it. Michael Bloomberg, I don't.
They wasting their time. I mean, I like Tom Steyer, but he's just a billionaire that's wasting his time. I'm sorry. No one's going to vote for Tom Steyer.
Yeah.
I like him, but it's just not enough there to make me go, I'm going to go for this guy. And they're spending millions on ads, him and Bloomberg. And no one's voting for Bloomberg either. He's wasting his money.
I hate to say it. I think some the people that is going to cause us the problems as Democrats, and whether or not Trump wins or loses, not going to. I think blacks will show up, but I think this little thing between Bernie Sanders people supporters and and Elizabeth Warren, I think that's
going to mess it up.
I think it's going to mess it up. I get that. Just like last time, they kind of messed up things too. And
they need to rally behind one person.
They do, but I just got this weird feeling that, again, it's going to be all principled, and no one just understands the bigger picture of it all. And it's just, if my candidate's not playing or on there,
I'm staying
then
home.
I'm not supporting.
Which isn't a good strategy at all.
Not at all.
That's not a good strategy at all.
And I do agree, like, it was wrong, some of the stuff they did against Bernie and how he...
Last time?
Yeah. And I'm hoping that nothing like that's going on at all, but even so, you still have to just back the candidate and let's move on.
After the caucuses, February 3rd, who do you think is going to be standing tall? Because right after that, quite a few are going to drop out. Because the Iowa caucuses ends up setting the stage, which we'll talk about next week, guys. I'm just asking Smith's opinion.
Who do I think will still be around?
Still standing after the caucuses. I think it's going to be out of Warren.
I think it's going to be the top four
Bernie and Biden.
Biden, Sanders, Warren, and I think I don't know if it condenses.
Buttigieg too?
Yeah, Buttigieg, and Andrew Yang. I think Andrew Yang. I like the idea of some of the stuff he's saying. So it'd be kind of cool, again, if you want someone who is not a politician. He's not. You're looking for a businessman who has been successful.
Yeah.
I mean, truly been successful. We should be looking at, a person like that. Because supposedly that's what Trump was going to bring. This person would bring way more. And, I mean, there's still some unanswered questions on things that he's wanting to do, and I mean as far as how he'll get things paid for. But there's all these candidates have things that you're not sure how they're actually going to get it paid for. So, but we also know that Trump being in office has ballooned the debt. So I almost say no one can do worse. And if people really look back at research, the last from Reagan on, even Carter on, most of the time the Democrats, which was like Clinton and Obama, reduced our debt at the time. You know, like Clinton, we had a positive until George W. Bush got in office. So.
Well, I'm starting to get a little anxious. Man.
So who do you think? Who are you looking for? You said.
I mean, you know what? Honestly, I'd really like Elizabeth Warren. Okay. And if not, I'd like her to be at least the vice president, the running mate. Yeah. You know, I think it's time we get some female energy in there. Besides being, just the first lady. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping it's her because I think she would be amazing. I think we'll be on the right side of history. I think she would do amazing. But I'm thinking it's going to end up being Biden or Sanders. I'm not sure about Buttigieg, and I don't think the country is ready for Yang, even though I like him. That's my opinion.
I really do.
So after the caucuses, we'll do a show. Yeah. Because we're gonna talk about the caucuses next week, which I
can see Amy Klobuchar being a president. Though.
Yeah.
I would love if she had more support.
Yeah. Which will come out on the 29th, guys, and then that Monday are the caucuses. So you'll hear what that's all about next Wednesday if you don't understand what the caucuses are. I know I didn't before I studied for the show. And then we'll talk about it on the show on the 5th, who ended up winning the caucuses for Iowa. Got it. We'll definitely talk about that on February 5th show. So, yeah, man, that's what I'm thinking, man. All I know is I'm anxious, and all I know is Trump needs to get the heck up out of there. And if he doesn't, we are in big trouble in Little China.
Yep.
I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying?
I
That's all I know, man. What else went on while we were on break, man, before we sign off? But Parnas, let's talk about Parnas real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Because I watched his interviews on CNN.
Okay.
And even though they're trying to discredit him because he's being indicted on something unrelated, he still from other stuff. He still was the point guy, and he still knows all about what happened.
Yeah.
And he's willing to testify at the Senate for this impeachment. And he went with his attorney, and I like how he's like, listen, I just want the truth to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm indicted on has nothing to do with this. But I was a part of it. I was the point guy. And everything that happened in Congress is the truth. I was there. I was the guy.
So it was quid pro quo.
Right, it was.
All that other stuff.
Yep.
They were trying to just get
Say
dirt on it.
Yep.
And then money. Oh, yeah. And he also... So he's being indicted for, I think, campaign finance.
Yeah,
laws.
I forget.
And
I'd have to look it up.
Basically funneling, if it wasn't Ukraine, but foreign money, let's just go
right.
into the campaigns. And again, that's big no-no. And here's the biggest thing. And is when people defend the stuff that's going on with Trump dealing with Ukraine like that, the biggest question is, you get a Republican candidate or whatever, so is that now okay? Because we all know that the answer is no, whether it's, it's always no if it's Democrat. But I mean, just realize you're making something okay for the next person to cheat.
Right.
And
exactly.
You're going to cry foul when it's now a Democrat who's going to be able to make that same influence and run it up. And so just think what's good for the goose is good for the gander, but it's really not.
Right. Another thing that they were talking about, too, if I can touch on it quick before we go, is they were saying that if he gets reelected again, they're going to try to create a dynasty, and his son is going to be up next. Trump, and then his daughter is going to be up next. And that's what they were saying they're going to try to do if he gets elected again.
Yep. I've heard that, too. That if Trump gets reelected, the chances of Trump Jr. Getting into office goes up higher. Yep. Just because of the name recognition. Yep. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard where he's also made those jokes where, oh, maybe I should stick around for a third term. Right.
Well, he can, which I didn't know, I just found out, he can come back again. I didn't know you could do that. You can, so if he loses this election coming up this November, he can run again after that 4 years up. I didn't know that.
So most losers never come back.
Right. No, and
I'm just saying.
And once you've done 8 years,
you can't no matter what.
You never come back. But I didn't know that you could run again after you've served the term.
So I guess what a person could do is they could run for 4. For whatever reason, say, I'm done and I don't even want to run. Someone else could, and they can come back and do another 4 because... can the president run for a third term? More than twice, right? So if he loses, he can come back and run one more time, which I didn't know. But you can't, right? Like you said, after you do 8 years, you can't come back after that, right? Yeah, no person has held office. So what you're asking is, can a president lose a second
term, then run again? Yeah, which they said that you can, like I said, which I didn't know. I just found out Friday. Yeah. So if you lose your second term, you can come back and try and run one more time.
Yeah, so if a president was removed from office in his second term, then he would be prohibited from running of a third. If a president had served 2 years or more as a president after assuming the office to fill a vacancy, he is limited to just one term. This is about impeachment.
No, definitely can't after impeachment. Yeah, definitely not.
No.
Because it said that when they read the articles.
Can a president run for a second term after taking a break from their first? take a look at Garber.
Or after
Cleveland,
losing the second term, can they run for a third? Maybe that's more the question.
Yeah, so someone has done that. That someone took time off. He was elected in 1884. So Governor Grover Cleveland was elected in 1884 and again in 1892.
Right. So he served one term, then came back for one more. Right. Yeah, which I didn't know that.
Here it is.
That you could do that.
He didn't take a break. He ran for second term in 1988, in 1888, but was defeated. So then he came back in 1892.
Right.
So yes, you're right.
Right. They were talking about it on Bill Maher. I didn't know that.
So truthfully,
they were like, he could lose in November, and then the next 4 years he can try again. I was like, what?
Yeah. I know what happened also while we were gone. I thought over the break, didn't he get sick or go to
Trump?
Yeah, he had a medical. I think he had a medical. Oh, I think we already kind of talked about that where he had an exam, and even though it looked like he's having issues like dementia, he still gets that clear.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. They swept that on the rug. I heard nothing about that.
Yeah, there's something where he was seen by the doctor, but and no one knows exactly what it is. So
yeah,
because you never know. You'll never get the truth out of his people.
Crazy, man. Anyway, guys, is that it?
That's it.
Parnas, that's our show, guys. We're back in effect. Sorry we're gone for so long. Holidays, sick, all that good stuff. You heard what we think about all these current affairs and stuff like that. And don't forget to subscribe on ISENT Group Digital. You can email us at rptalktruth@gmail.com.
And as said before the break, we are on iHeartRadio.
Yeah. We're everywhere now. Where you get your podcast, we also got on iHeart right before the new year, so that's really cool. So we're literally everywhere you get your podcast. Definitely subscribe on ISENT Group Digital on YouTube. Like I said, don't forget to follow us on social media. And please, if you're in Iowa, go out, make that stuff happen. And we're gonna talk about that next week. And we need to get Trump up out of there.
Yes.
It's the HPR Chronicles Podcast with Shakur and Smith. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Happy to be back. Peace.